Every year, more and more international students come to study in the United States. A study in 2013 reported nearly 1 million studying on campuses across the U.S. They come from a wide range of countries, from diverse walks of life, and with many different faith backgrounds. They are here with the desire to learn and build relationships. A study in the Journal of International and Intercultural Communication suggests that many international students are disappointed in their relationships with U.S. students. It found that 65% of international students had no close American friends. What would it look like for you to build a relationship with an international student? These 4 videos will paint a fuller picture of how to engage international students on your campus. You will learn more about how to leave your comfort zone to enter into other cultures, how to respond when the cultural differences surface in the friendship, how to continue pointing your international friends toward Jesus, and how to empower them toward mission to share Jesus in their communities, families, and contexts. Let's explore leaving your context to enter into another culture. Jesus is the ultimate example of living and relating cross-culturally. Through the incarnation, in becoming human, he chose to displace himself and enter into others' lives to love and serve. Take, for example, the Samaritan woman at the well. He literally went out of his way to go to her village. He then went to the well, where traditionally the women gathered, and he initiated a conversation with her. He knew the culture she came from, entered into her situation, shared life-giving truth with her, and sent her back to the community as a witness to meeting the Messiah. But there was a major requirement for Jesus to be able to relate to her in this way. The act of becoming human, entering into and dwelling in the world, required Jesus to leave the place he knew. If we want to enter the international student world, it requires a similar act of leaving our comfort zone. Incarnation demands leaving. In my first few years working among international students, I was at a university with a large Chinese international student population. I decided to enter more fully into the community at the university since I had Chinese friends but lacked understanding of the culture. I nervously decided to join a Chinese traditional choir. There were several strikes against me in my attempt to incarnate. The direction and lyrics were in Mandarin Chinese, and the music score was written in an Eastern fashion with numbers rather than notes on a scale. New friends whispered directions and wrote out the phonetic pronunciation of Chinese words. I listened, observed, and attempted to appear not as confused as I felt. After several months, our choir was invited to sing at a citywide Chinese New Year celebration. I still only knew 50% of the words, even after weeks of playing the songs on repeat. We lined up in our traditional choir clothes and took our places in front of 500 people. 15 minutes later, I breathed a sigh of relief having lip-synced half of the performance. I was humbled, and I was grateful. After a semester of fumbling through incarnation, God opened doors into their community on campus. My love and understanding of the Chinese community deepened. I was grateful I left my zone of familiarity and endured the challenges to become a learner in a new culture. You may think, that's great, but there are no Chinese choirs at my school. Fair enough, but most universities do have international student organizations and country-specific student groups. If you're not sure where to start, research what groups are on your campus. As you practice cross-cultural incarnation through leaving your zone and entering another's, both time and service are incredibly important values to bring with you. Time is seen differently across cultures. For me, time is scheduled start to finish and begins and ends at a planned point. When I started a Bible study with an international friend, I prepared to study Scripture for 60 minutes. I arrived, had simple conversation for the first 10 minutes, and then transitioned to Scripture study. She continued to ask questions about my family. My mind played tug-of-war to get the Bible study started rather than carry on conversation. Over the course of the semester, spending a good portion of our Bible study time together on quality conversation served the friendship. It was then that trust was established between us, and because of our friendship, she was more willing to study Scripture with me. Be patient when entering another culture. The way you spend your time shows your priorities and commitments more than what you say your commitments are. Are you more concerned with the task or topic at hand? Are you engaging in the conversation and caring for the individual well? Just as time is important, service proves to be an equally significant value of incarnation. When I entered more deeply into international community, I spent what felt to me like excessive amounts of time cooking and cleaning. I wondered what impact this was making. Clearly, Bible study and prayer were more significant. I couldn't have been more wrong. The simple act of serving the community embodied scriptural values of humility, demonstrated incarnation, and gave me credibility in the community. It was not my brilliant knowledge and composed thoughts that gave me favor among friends, but rather my service. My eyes were open to see the various ways other international friends served one another. Requests like hosting a guest unexpectedly were welcomed and carried by the entire community, and often service was mutual. I learned to receive in these moments and not just give. Leaving my context and entering another's led to a deeper appreciation of how I view my time and service and allowed Jesus to teach and transform me through the international community. As you explore how to expand your networks in the international communities on your campus, I challenge you to live incarnationally. Leave your comfort zone, enter into another culture. Be conscious of how you spend your time together. Learn to give and receive acts of service, and expect Jesus to show up and transform you and your new friends. What cultural and ethnic groups are already a part of your relational network? What group is God leading you to enter into and be incarnational among? Where are the places to meet more international students in your community? What specific next steps can you take to live incarnationally by spending time with and serving your international friends?